Alaskan Bush People is a reality TV series that follows the Brown family of 9 who had given up modern perks to live remotely in Alaska, depending solely on their survivalist abilities and each other. Since the show premiered in May 2014, it has become one of the most watched Discovery Channel series due to its interesting content and personalities involved, catering to people who have always wondered about the off-the-grid lifestyle. On the other hand, the series Alaskan Bush People has been ridden with controversy and scandals from the first season, criticized for scripted content, false representation, and numerous apparent wrongdoings. Today, we bring you the main reasons fans are tired of the series. The whole premise of the series is considered by many to be genius, people living in the wilderness without contemporary conveniences, relying solely on their own skills. However, the show and the family have been called out numerous times for lying about their seemingly off-the-grid lifestyle and whereabouts, which obviously takes away from the show. When the series began airing, the Brown family disclosed, "We're leaving society to live at the end of the world, shaking off the shackles of the modern world, and buying an estate that was in deep bush." According to Alaska Dispatch News, the family is not nearly as isolated as they claim to be, revealing that their house is accessible from a dirt road just off the highway. In addition, if some of the cast members are not in a mood to hunt deer or catch fish, they can walk along to the pizza parlor called Grizzly Pizza, which is just a half-mile from the residence. Can we blame the Brown family for wanting some comfort? Well, yes we can. While claiming to be all born and raised wild and living in Alaska's challenging and unstable environment, the family is not quite so adamant in actually rejecting modern perks, especially hotels. According to Hoona locals, the family often spent the night at the Icy Strait Lodge and said, "All of the boys have their own room." Of course, having a room at a lodge isn't punishable by law, but it certainly casts a shadow of doubt over their show and their claims. Furthermore, the family's oldest member, Matt, known to the public for his addiction to alcohol, has reportedly spent a lot of time at the lodge's bar and restaurant. One source revealed to the media outlet Radar Online that Matt was even arrested for DUI after picking up a girl he had met in the Juneau bar. In addition, the source shared some other juicy information about Matt, saying, "Matt is very good with ladies, charming and funny, a natural flirt. He holds nothing back when trying to get up a girl's skirt. He even has memorized pickup lines." Reportedly, some of the Discovery Channel production crew members occasionally spent time at the Icy Strait, and Matt lived with them at the Misty Bay Lodge. In fact, many believe that their bush home known as Browntown was just a front for the series, and that the family usually only spent time there when filming. Since the show came to life, it's stressed that the family was not as tech-savvy as you would expect, didn't know how to use an iPhone, and couldn't even pronounce Jay-Z's name. Furthermore, they were oblivious to who Kim Kardashian was, and had never used a computer. So, if you've watched the show, you must know that the idea sprang up from a book the late Billy Brown, the family's patriarch, wrote, entitled One Wave at a Time. When the show began airing, fans were shocked to learn that Billy had his own website to promote his book, and it seemed that the site was set up by someone knowledgeable and experienced. Of course, there is always a possibility that Billy hired someone for the job. So, despite their unique lifestyle, Billy was wise enough to know that promotion is vital in the modern world. Another fact reinforcing the notion even more that the family lied about being technologically illiterate is that some of the family members, such as Bam Bam, Gabe, and Noah, created YouTube channels in 2009, 5 years before the show even premiered. For a family that supposedly doesn't know how to use an iPhone, they are quite familiar with YouTube. In the 4th and 5th season of the show, the Browns commuted to California, where Noah met a girl named Karina Kaufman and developed a bond with her. However, after returning to his home state, he wanted to see her again and called her on a date, which she allowed to be filmed. In an interview, Karina talked about Noah, saying he was a very different and interesting person. However, the fans noted that she didn't actually seem interested in him at all, and he certainly didn't make any attempts to correct that, even ruining his chances with his actions. He first showed her around, and while visiting the chicken coop, Noah began playing an electric keyboard and singing a song about his heartbreak from a previous girlfriend. The fact that Noah is not vocally gifted only added to this hard-to-watch performance, although Karina kept a straight face during this ordeal. Later, the Guide channel uncovered that Noah's seemingly random date was not that random at all. As it turned out, Karina is an aspiring actress with an IMDb page and 3 credits for short romantic movies, including Love in the Time of Flannel and The Song of Birds and Bees. It remained undisclosed whether she was paid for her appearance in the show, but many believed that she was there to grab her 15 minutes of fame, as there was no chemistry between her and Noah, and the whole situation felt staged. The whole idea of the show and the family's reason for moving to remote Alaska was rooted in the tragic event of losing their family cabin to fire, which served as a catalyst and forced them to find another home. However, it seemed that Billy could never get this story straight about what actually caused the fire. In the first season, which shows the family trying to build a makeshift cabin, he initially claimed that the government had burned it down because it was on public land. His second version contradicted his previous statement, saying that the fire was entirely accidental. When the second season aired, Billy had changed his story for the third time, saying, "My cabin burned and I wasn't home. That's all I can say." His last statements regarding the cabin and the fire were a far cry from accusing the US government of arson, so it became apparent that the network attorney probably advised Billy to change his story. After all, pointing the finger at the government, especially without evidence, is never a good idea. When you think that it couldn't get any worse, the Browns prove that it can. On top of the numerous accusations of promoting a fake lifestyle and enjoying the conveniences of the modern world while claiming to be devoid of them, in 2016, Billy and Bam Bam were sentenced to 30 days in prison for lying on Alaska state forms. What happened was that the family provided false information while submitting the applications for Alaska Permanent Fund support, and thus falsely obtained oil revenue checks. These annual forms are only available to Alaskan residents, and according to the Alaskan law, residents need to live year-round to be eligible for them. When they collected these checks from 2011 to 2013, the family was moving from place to place, making them ineligible to collect them. Allegedly, the whole family was charged, but Billy and Bam Bam made a deal with the prosecutors to spare the rest of this family of this inconvenience. They pleaded guilty to unsworn falsification and received 30 days in prison. In addition, they were stripped of the right to claim these checks ever again. They had to perform 40 days of community service on top of several fines ranging from $3,000 to $10,000. After the news made headlines, Billy talked to a media outlet and said, "Because of the way we live our lives and the way we often unconventionally travel, I didn't keep good track of our movements, so I accept full responsibility for filing for benefits without confirming that we met the requirements." Scripted content and staging situations are not a novelty when it comes to reality TV series, and that is common knowledge. However, it seemed that the producers of Alaskan Bush People stooped to a new low when they allegedly tricked a girl, Christina O'Malley, into thinking that she was on a dating show. According to reports, Christina signed up to be on the dating site AlaskanMen.com, then was mysteriously contacted by the Alaskan Bush People producers. They arranged a phone call between her and Gabe, which she believed was for the purposes of the dating show. Patiently waiting for the next stage of the show, Christina was later brushed off by Carter, who disclosed that Gabe wasn't feeling well and couldn't bring her to Alaska. She was in for a nasty surprise after seeing the edited conversation between her and Gabe in the show's episode, which also featured Christina's photo. Later, Christina and her mother disclosed to the media they had been outraged by the deception and that the producers definitely manipulated her. None of the family members or the show's producers confirmed this, but if it did transpire as Christine and her mother revealed, it shows the length some people are willing to go to for interesting content. In the 8th season, the family gets a new addition for the brown town, Sabrina the cow. Under the pretense that the family needed a steady source of milk essential to their bush life and self-sustainability, the family matriarch arranged the purchase of the cow in Hoona. As it appeared, the only problem for the family was how to get it transported to their homestead. They settled by making a makeshift pen onto their barge and transporting Sabrina across Alaskan waters. However, the whole story turned out to be a lie. The owner of Edelweiss Dairy, Hans Wolfsburg, talked to the Linden Tribune and disclosed that the producers of the show contacted him, saying they were in need of a cow, and Wolfsburg were in supply. Furthermore, despite the show's portrayal, the cow was directly transported to the homestead without any complications. Hans's daughter Jan, who was Sabrina's owner at the time, stayed with the family and crew to teach them how to properly care for the prize-winning cow. After they filmed the episode, they reportedly got rid of the cow, Hans disclosing, "After moving to Alaska, Sabrina would stay with the Brown family for a month while video footage was shot, before being adopted by an Alaskan local to live out the remainder of her life." Many fans joked about the cow and its supernatural milk, which allegedly sustained a family of 9 for a lifetime of wilderness independence in a month. In 2018, Noah Brown and Rain married and set up a funding page on Facebook to collect some money for their honeymoon, which read, "Help us enjoy our honeymoon in Montana. We have never needed a lot, but these few things would go a long way." While creating these types of sites is not unusual, especially for those with financial issues, what shocked the fans was that they put a minimal amount that could be donated, with additional fees. So if you wanted to support the newlyweds, you would have to offer at least $2. Other fans pointed out that it was ironic that they were asking for money in the first place, as at the time they had apparently been receiving between $8,000 to $15,000 per episode of the series, and other revenues acquired through their social media and promotions. So what's the end result for the series? It hasn't been formally cancelled, but as of mid-2022, its future must be in serious doubt.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.